gorgeous? Does that funk have you feeling stuck? Have you questioning your purpose, or even yet having you asking if your best years are behind you? Girl, you have zero obligation to stay in that funk. This podcast is for women who want to get the funk out of here, who want to play bigger, ask for more, and step out of mediocrity. Imagine a life filled with lots of energy, excitement, and filled with spunk instead of that funk. This is the Unfunk Your Mind podcast. I'm your host, Crystal. Let's go! Hey, girlfriends. So glad to have you here. Today, we take one more step out of that funk and take one more step towards your vibrant and intentional journey. Oh, yeah. Speaking of vibrant, I walked into one of our local coffee shops and it was rocking. Between the people, the music, the fall decor, and of course all the pumpkin options, it was so full of energy. Now back in the day, fall would have me in college football mode. Fall was the signal for party time, tailgates, football, and friendships. But over time, that excitement for college football faded. While I still watched games on television, I wasn't super pumped up about any one team. I just loved watching the really close games and usually followed a player more so than a team. Now enter Coach Prime. Deion Sanders has revived my excitement for college football. Despite the loss this weekend, I am still revved up to watch Colorado games. I'm as excited to watch them as I remember being in college and cheering just as hard for the Buffs to win as I used to my Hokies. Actually, I watched the whole game, too, of Colorado. The confidence and the enthusiasm for the game is so contagious. And what makes Coach Prime so fascinating to me is his leadership. It's a very specific part of his leadership, too, that strikes me. It's how he chooses to be better than bitter. Instead of working with what he was given, he chose better. Better staff, better players from the portal, better leaders, better mindsets. He chose better and disregarded the bitter. He even chose better in the post-game interview this past weekend. He acknowledged the other coach and the good job the other coaching staff did preparing their kids for the game. But his confidence let everyone know that even after this past weekend's loss, that we're still in for a treat this season. Coach Prime clearly doesn't expect for his team to stay stagnant. He wants growth, not only for himself, but for those around him, especially his players. And clearly that's what the college program wanted when they hired him too. He was handed a whole lot of bitter, but when he was hired, he took that challenge as an opportunity to choose better. His better attitude is creating this electric energy that everyone is showing up to see. When you are handed a situation, a circumstance that's not desirable, do you automatically choose bitter, or do you look at it as a challenge, as an opportunity for better? Take, for instance, a fallout with a friend. You could choose to have a bitter attitude, or you can choose to reflect on the dynamics of that relationship, learn from it, and form a new, healthier relationship or friendship going forward. Or did you recently get passed up for a promotion or passed over? Do you stay bitter, or do you better yourself by grabbing new skills in the future and taking on additional responsibilities? Perhaps you have another scenario like your finances getting tighter. You could reach for bitter, or could you look at it as an opportunity to reassess or readjust your budget? What your priorities and needs are when it comes to your spending. Just recently, one of my little girls started to figure out the app that I use. It assigns their chores, and it also gives their allowance. It kind of gives an equal weight to all their chores. So it pays the same amount to wipe down the kitchen counter as it does to pick up the dog poop in the backyard. Well, she decided that picking up the poop wasn't worth the same amount as wiping down the counters, so she just stopped doing it. Now, I know you're saying smart girl, but at first, I was choosing a bitter attitude, ladies. But then I caught myself. Better versus bitter mindset, right? I used it as an opportunity to talk to her about chores and the importance of all them getting done, and understanding that when she doesn't do her part, it makes all the other parts suffer too. Because eventually someone has to clean it up, or the neighbors smell it, and she's just leaving her task to someone else. I let her know that earning the allowance requires her to do all her chores. So instead of staying bitter and wanting to shake her, I used it as an opportunity to teach her better and give her a new perspective about doing her part for the team, or in this instance, for her family. How do you know if you're choosing better versus bitter? Choosing better includes growth for you and others around you, progress, improvement, and expansion, while choosing bitter actually fosters a lot of regret, resentments, and creates stagnation for you and those around you. Choosing better is not about denying life's challenges or pretending they don't exist, because you know that nature delivers lemons on a lemon tree, but you also know that you can make it better by using those lemons to make lemonade or just good old-fashioned yummy lemon water instead of just eating the lemon after we peel it. Ugh. It's about adopting a mindset that transforms those challenges into opportunities for betterment and growth, not only for you, but for those around you too. If nothing else, it puts a new pep in your step, gets you excited again, and you become contagious to those around you. Who wouldn't want to spend more time around that person? Sign me up, girl. You spend a lot of time choosing better for your kids, like you take them to school, hire an athletic coach, put them on a sports team, hire a vocal coach, put them in dance, or even for your parents or spouse. You would try and find the best doctor for their care when they needed it, right? You're very quick to choose better for them and actually think about your decisions, but how often do you choose better for you? Or are you sitting in stagnation with regret and a little resentment? Are you sitting with a bitter attitude the majority of your day, your week? It's easy to choose bitter. Just turn on the news, scroll the internet, or pick up a paper. Shoot, some of you just have to go to work. You can easily find it all around you. When you are sitting with a bitter, stagnant, resentful attitude, you unconsciously become surrounded by it. Did you know that? Your energy is attracting it. You can reach out and grab it at any time. Sit with it as much as you want and as long as you want, and be completely validated in whatever bitterness you are sitting in. When you show up that way, everything around you is going to show up that way too, girl. Okay, you get the picture. But how do you choose better, choose growth, improvement, progress, and expansion? You have an incredibly powerful resource that you don't give enough credit. Your wisdom. That can always help you choose better. Just like Coach Prime calls on his football and leadership wisdom, you have a wisdom that's like no one else's. Your wisdom bank even includes wisdom from those you have met along your journey. Those people have made deposits into your wisdom too. You have this incredible bank full of wisdom within you. And unlike a bank account, it doesn't really get depleted. This wisdom bank only grows, and it's totally free to access, and it's open 24/7. You don't need to remember a login or a password. You can just access it. Use your wisdom to guide your decisions and your heart to determine if that decision is expansive and feels like love and growth. It's true. A combination of wisdom and heart can help you choose better over bitter in almost every circumstance. Don't sit there and mindlessly suck on that bitter candy, because it's one of those that will never turn sweet in the middle. My kids still find it hysterical when they give me this candy and they trick me into putting it in my mouth. I quickly spit it out every single time. And guess what? You can spit it out too. Spit out that circumstance when it's bitter. You don't have to sit there and keep sucking on that bitter candy. Spit it out. Spit out that circumstance that is not serving you. It's likely that it's you forcing yourself to sit there and cringe through the entire experience. I have been using this choose better versus choose bitter in my marriage too. If my husband and I get into a disagreement, I will tell myself, choose the better attitude versus the bitter attitude. And usually the disagreement is silly, and choosing better always works the disagreement out. Who in the world wants to stay bitter when the disagreement was about not rinsing the dishes off when they go in the sink, or not filling up the gas in the car when it was on empty? How does bitter serve you or anyone around you? Why not choose better? It doesn't mean to always be in agreement to keep the peace. It means communicating so that your relationship can grow in a healthy way and not stay stuck, stay stagnant in a destructive way. In the midst of any family conflict, you can choose to communicate openly, seek resolution, and strengthen family bonds rather than harboring bitterness and resentment. Imagine that. You are an adult. I truly think we forget that sometimes. You are an adult and truly capable of turning bitter into better. Just step back from the circumstance and become the observer. Observe the conflict for what it is. And in most cases, You will want to choose better because it's just not worth the bitter. In this case, choosing better can also free up your time and add to your energy stores. Typically, when you choose bitter, you carry it around with you all day and it consumes you, depletes you energetically. When you choose better, you're able to freely go about your day and look for other opportunities where being in a bitter mindset could keep you from seeing those opportunities or attracting those opportunities. And I don't want to forget about making quick decisions. I'm sure you don't always think to ask bitter or better because the decision has to be made quickly. You make the decision and then you just adapt to the decision on the fly. But after you make the decision, you usually just keep going with it. You don't go back and analyze it or reflect on it. You never pause in its midst and reflect if that was better or bitter. One time my husband and I had to make a quick decision in our business, and in the moment we didn't realize it was bitter. Once we reflected, we were able to see it was bitter, but we were able to spit it out, so to speak, and change a few things to make it better. So make sure to always go back and reflect on the better versus bitter when you have to make a truly quick decision to ensure it was truly better. And know that if it was bitter, you have the power to change it up. Take on the challenge, seek the opportunity, and make it better, girl. Using this strategy, this tool, when you go into overthinking mode works too. Go back to the original reason you were overthinking and determine and sift through all your thoughts and determine, is it better or bitter? Is it a better or bitter attitude that will follow? And ask your future self, will she be bitter or better if you follow through on that original thought? Does it move you toward her, your future self, your aspiration zone? Does it help someone grow around you and move them towards their aspiration zone? Just going through the motions every day, if it hasn't already, will leave you empty and all funked up. Rock the better versus bitter attitude. This better attitude will make your energy come alive, and that aliveness will up your action game. Choosing better helps you learn to embrace change and have joy in the small moments. Like the other day, I chose to ask Siri directions to a place, and it asked if I wanted the fastest way or the one without highways. And instead of getting pissed or annoyed at that thing for asking and just shouting at it to give me the directions, I chose better and said fastest. And in that moment, I found joy and gratefulness for Siri. For about 15 seconds, I imagined a world having to pull over to look at a map to get where I needed in time. Here is the thing. Bitter is all around us, but so is better. You get to choose which attitude you want to embrace, better or bitter. Now I'm going to take a quote from Coach Prime and change one word. If you think good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. Oh yeah, I'm loving Coach Prime. Choose better. It's an attitude. It's a swagger. It will create abundance in and around you. You have it in you to break through that funk and choose better. It's the better that will move you forward, move you into growth, create progress, and deliver improvement. Remember to give yourself grace in this journey because funks are powerful, but so are you. Have patience and choose better. Soon the choosing better will compound itself and you will find your abundance and your way out of that funk, girl. You know I love you and want the best for you. It's time now to go and blow your own mind. Change your mindset to change your life. That I cannot do for you, but I'm here cheering you on all the way. It's hard, but so worth it. You are worth it too. Be the light because you're meant to shine. Let's go.
This podcast is meant for motivational purposes only.
Before you go, Superwoman, I'd love it if you took a little action for me. Like subscribe to my podcast and leave a review. Also, share the episode with a friend. And as a thank you, hit up my website, unfunkyourmind.com. That's right, unfunkyourmind.com to grab free journal prompts. Okay, ladies, now is the time to go unfunk your mind. Play bigger and ask for more. Open the door to possibility and cancel playing small. So get up and go.